Hi guys, welcome back to Stories Down Under. My name is Fran, as you all know, and Stella is here. Today we want to take you through simple ways of managing your finances as a migrant in Australia. We all love to hear about money. I remember one of my former lecturers used to say that money is not everything, but it sits right up there with God. I believe that because money is a significant part of our life, and whether you like it or not, you'll have to think about money at least 1 hour a day or more than that. So in saying that, we're gonna quickly just jump into this, give you what we have prepared, and then let Stella give us a breakdown of what she's got.
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely, Fran. And the reason why I thought about this topic, or we came across this topic, is as migrants, when I came to Australia, I used to be very stressed about money. I used to know, how am I going to, make sure that my family is well looked after? And these are things that actually help me. And I can tell you, I have automated a lot of things. We both have, and we don't have to think about money. And those are the things that we want to talk about today. And the first one is an analogy I read from The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. And he talks about pay yourself first. And when I read the book, I thought, pay yourself first. What do you mean? The money is already coming to me. However, paying yourself first, he gave a very interesting analogy. And he was asking, like, for example, you've worked for 5 years. What do you have to show for it? How about a person who's worked for 10 years, 20 years? And you'll see, if you gather your friends and they've all worked for different incomes and they have different lifestyles, a lot of people do not have they have zero to non-existent savings. And paying yourself is ensuring that each and every income you get, you'll save at least 10% of your income. And this might sound a bit of a cliche or too far-fetched, but this has actually really, really helped me. And for example, if someone else tell you at the age of 92, you'll be a billionaire like Warren Buffett, you wouldn't believe it, because you think that he actually landed maybe a jackpot, but these are tens and thousands of years of investing, not thousands, but tens of decades, decades of years of investing that has actually made him a billionaire. So I would give an example of, for example, if you earned $1,000 a week, and you decided from today henceforth, I'm going to save 10% of that. That would be $100 per week. At the end of the month, you would have $400. What about at the end of the year? So $400 times 12, that is $4,800. Well, what about at the end of 10 years? You'd have at least $48,000 in your bank account that you didn't have. What about in 20 years? That's another $96,000. So It just goes to show that getting money is like planting a fruit tree. So if you plant a fruit tree today, maybe an apple tree, you're not going to go check out tomorrow whether you have apples. No, not even after a month, not even after maybe 6 months, even after a year, you're still not going to find those juicy apple fruits. It takes years. And if you're patient with saving 10%, your children will benefit from that apple tree. Your children's will be eating from that same apple tree. So try to automate this process whereby you don't have to think about it. Every time you get your income, 10% goes into savings, no matter what. And I remember one time I went for a conference, and there was a Kenyan lady talking, and he was talking to migrants and saying, a lot of us, sometimes if there's an emergency home and you have to fly back home, you don't even have a couple of thousands, maybe $3,000 to book your emergency flight to Kenya. True. Which adds a lot of stress, because at the back of your head, as much as you pretend that everything is okay, you worry that you do not have an emergency fund. You worry that if you need to help your niece or your nephew, if your child, you do not have the money. But this saving 10% will ensure you have that emergency fund, will ensure that you're able to take care of yourself if there is need be, and it will remove so much stress from your life. So I hope today you're encouraged to actually start this process, and hopefully we can all be millionaires one day.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is possible with positivity. The next way of managing funds is to domino your debts. Prioritize paying off your debt. We know we've sort of got into debt in one way or the other due to emergency, or maybe we really needed the money to buy some big items that we couldn't pay for upfront. But please have a way of paying off these debts. And there are different ways that you can do this. Number one, just spend what you can afford. Surely there are some items that are wants, they're not needs. You can save slowly by slowly to be able to buy them. But if you go out there, a lot of banks, a lot of financial institutions are busy marketing, and they're providing really, really exciting options out there. You feel like, oh my God, this looks really impressive, but you don't know how much you're tied into this debt and how long it's gonna take you to pay back off this debt. Because some, for example, personal loans can be quite expensive. They are very attractive in the sense that you can apply for it today, you can get it today, but who takes time to look at the exact amount that you'll pay off? For example, the interest that is calculated daily, it ends up being a huge chunk of money. So please spend only what you can afford. Avoid afterpay. There are a lot of financial services out there, Nimble, which other ones, Stella? Afterpay, that can really get you sucked up. But in the end of it all, there are ways that can prevent you from managing your funds effectively. So be mindful of that. If you have a credit card, make a point of paying it off as fast as you can, and only spend what you can afford to buy. For example, so many of us have closets full of clothes, but how many of those clothes do you wear in a month? How many can you tell? No, you find out that you just put on a few pair of pants or shirts or one or two pairs of shoes every month. So what's the point of having all these things that you don't use? Absolutely. So if you cut on your spendings, if you watch your debt, cut on your debt, there is a recent report shows that Australians owe about 37,000 in debt. That's an average Australian, but the credit card debt goes up to 18 billion, which is a huge amount of money to pay out there. And most of these things are probably non-essential items if you look at them. So be mindful of that if you want to manage your finances here in Australia.
Thank you for that, Fran. Honestly, for me, I think I sleep better because I do not have a credit card.
Me too.
I just want to teach myself to only spend what I have. I know we're in a very consumerism world, especially being in a first world country. You get enticed because people here have a lot of spending power, and it's very easy to carry it away. So thank you for that, honestly. So we can all focus on paying our credit cards and staying away from money we do not have, spending money we do not have. The other one that I'm thinking about is super. When I came to Australia as a 20-year-old, I did not understand the concept of super. Who needs to save for retirement when you're in your 20s? I didn't fathom that one day I'll be 65. However, when being an accountant and understanding super, I always beat myself for being so silly, because what I did, as most people do, is that you have a job there, you have another job there, and they all have different super funds, and your super fund is in like 4 different super funds. But what people do not know, or what I did not understand, is that each and every super fund is charging you a management fee of 1 to 2%. So which is really eating into your hard-earned money that is supposed to be going into your retirement. You don't want to be financially stressed at 65. And people nowadays, the life expectancy has really risen. People are living into their 90s. So I would advise you to consolidate your super, and not only consolidate your super, find a super fund that has the least management fee and offers the best benefits. So in terms of what has been their track in terms of the return on the investment with the super. So when I did the research, I found Hostplus to be one of the top that has actually returned the highest return on the investment, as well as the least management fund. So shop around, don't take my word for it. This is not an advertisement. Shop around and find a super with the least management fee and the best benefit. That said, the other thing you can do with super, and that I'm so glad that gives me a peace of mind, is salary sacrifice. The employer is required by the government to contribute 10% of your salary towards your super. However, you can add an extra 5% up to 5. I think it's capped to 27,500.
Yeah, 27
per year.
500
But
per year.
personally, I just do an extra 5% towards my super through salary sacrifice. And there's so much benefits for doing this, because what happens if you just increase an extra 5% towards your super, you save on your tax, because this money is taken away from your gross income, which reduces your gross income, and then you're able to pay less tax. Of course, you know the tax is calculated based on your income bracket, so that pushes your income bracket a bit lower, and you're able to save on tax. And that said, also the government already knows that life will be so expensive later on in life, and it gives a lot of incentives in terms of tax. Also, for individuals who earn less than 43,000, for every dollar that you contribute towards your super, the government gives 50 cents for every dollar. So let's assume you contribute 1,000 this financial year. The government is going to contribute $500 towards your super, which will be paid within 60 days of the end of the financial year. So the government is already encouraging you to save towards retirement. Why would you not do it? So I would highly encourage you. This will give you a peace of mind knowing that you will retire happily, you'll have enough money to live till your end of life, and you'll be able to take care of your family.
Good one, Stella. We're so lucky to be here where the superstructure is very well managed. Let's take advantage of that as migrant. The other one that is worth taking note of is insurance. I know that most people underestimate the power of insurance, especially health insurance. Some of us just say, oh, God will take care of me, but you'll never know until something hits. You might get an accident, you might fall sick, but if you have a health insurance, you really are in a better place, because most insurance covers here are very well, they can cover all your cost of hospitals depending on which type of cover you have, and that can give you that financial security that is much needed. So shop around for insurance covers. And there are some extras that you can avoid to minimize your monthly repayment. So shop around. Don't just go with one. Before you settle on one, do at least 2 to 3 to 4 or 4 more before you settle down. And check on the extras provided. Check on, I would recommend going for comprehensive cover. Check on the premium. Avoid extras that are necessary, because most comprehensive covers will take up everything that you need for any event that can happen. Also, it's important if you're 30 and above and in Australia to have a private cover, because there is a penalty called Medicare levy surcharge that the government will apply on your income if you have no private cover. So please ensure that you have a private cover to avoid that Medicare levy surcharge. I'm not sure what it is at the moment, but previously it used to be 2.5% of gross income. Yeah, that's a huge amount of money. Also, on insurance, think of areas like life insurance. A lot of us don't think of life insurance as something, but it's important because you don't know how long you live. If you have a good life insurance cover, you leave your family at peace. When you die, your mortgage can be taken care of, and all other necessities. Mostly for us who live far away, you can be lucky enough that can cover the cost of repatriating the body back home and things like that we hardly ever talk about, but comes in very handy. Check with your superannuation. Most super funds have income protection, disability, and which other cover is that, Stella, that they cover under most?
Total disability.
Total disability.
Yeah.
You know that you can get up to 10 to 12% increase of your salary to cover for this, to bump up this insurance payout. So it would be worth calling your super fund to check how much they have in terms of disability, income protection, and health cover. And if possible, you can do a small increase that will really add up in the long run.
Absolutely, yes. So I love that. I love what you say, that it should be at least 10 times your annual salary. So if you earn 60,000 of annual salary, so the life insurance cover that we advise is 10 to 12 times, so at least $600,000 in insurance for your life cover. And life cover comes in handy with total permanent disability, as a lot of Australians, the kind of work we do, you end up injuring yourself at work and you cannot be able to work. So having that will give you that protection that, of course, you're taking care of your family. Very well said, Fran. Thank you for that.
Thanks,
and then
Stella.
as we wind up, I think this is one question that I had, of course, when I came here, is about the mortgage. So I read from the Barefoot Investor, and he was talking about a mortgage comes from a French word that says that it's an agreement till death. So a lot of mortgages here, you find that you mortgage your house for 30 years, which is a long time. So please, if you are worried about, is renting a waste of money? No. Do not get into mortgage just to keep up with the Joneses, because it is very easy to have your house taken away from you if you do not meet the minimum repayments. So our advice towards mortgage is that just prepare. By saving 10% of your income, keep saving for as long as it's going to take you to afford at least 20% of your home as a deposit for your house. If you can afford 20% of your home, that gives you the assurance that you're able to pay for it.
Yeah.
And the best thing is that you're able to avoid lender's mortgage insurance. This is money that is charged to you if you do not have 20% of your income. And for 500,000 house, if you pay only 5% deposit, you can pay 12,000 to 15,000 in loan mortgage insurance. And this is money not to protect you, but to protect the lender, who is the bank. And this money is added to your mortgage. So with all the interest, you'll end up paying almost 30,000 of loan mortgage insurance. So please make sure you saved enough for your mortgage. You have 20% savings. Also, you're able to afford it. If you're with your partner, try to find something that even when either of you is not working, you're still able to afford it. And again, people always ask, how do I manage to save for a mortgage? Again, referencing our favorite book, The Barefoot Investor, he gives a very good explanation of how you should manage your money. And ideally, you should spend 60% on your normal expenses. This is your rent, your transport, your daily expenses. Comfortably spend 60%. And then he talks about another 10%, use it to splurge. We're not about telling you, do not have your daily coffee. No. That's not, we want to live fully. We're in Australia to be able to enjoy the lifestyle and to be happy and to also reward ourselves for the hard work. So 10% of your income, you can use it to splurge on a lunch date, to go for coffee dates. And then another 10%, you can save it. He calls it Smile. This is where you save up to buy your dream car and, to go for that trip. You want to be well traveled. There's so many benefits of traveling. And then another 20% is to save for your mortgage, to save to be able to develop other sources of income. A lot of people are keen about getting passive income, but without savings, you'll not be able to take advantage of opportunities that will be presented to you. So I hope you'll be able to find benefit in that in whatever we've shared today. I don't know, Fran, whether there's anything you'd like to add.
We have really covered most of the things that that has worked for us and that we constantly practice. And if you have anything that has worked for you, you're in Australia, please, we would like to hear from you, and we'd like to add this because we love to add value, especially to migrants. We like to give you out there things that can help you. We all know how much we work, how hard we work, and it would be good for us to retire comfortably and have some good savings at the end of it all.
Absolutely.
So please, as you go through the journey of getting yourself set up financially, remember these 5 steps and let us know how you go. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.